Joe Biden enlists White House counsel to try and push back against the Texas abortion law. So we'll talk just a bit about what's going on with that. In other news, the border with Tajikistan is more important to be kept secure than the border in the US. So we'll go over a little bit about what's going on there. A protest is scheduled for Washington, D.C. on September 18th, and don't worry, there's totally not going to be any FBI involvement with that. So we will talk just a bit about what's going on with that, and McDonald's is being investigated by the FTC for its broken McFlurry machines. It's going to be all this and more. Hey, do you trust the plan yet? I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Well, it seems even the news media doesn't want to work hard over an upcoming holiday weekend here because, we don't have a big swath of stories across the top of the board today here. So we'll get through all of them today. Plus, today is the day where everybody gets a special thank you who chatted in the live chat throughout the week here. I got everybody's name written down in a notebook. Thank you to Restream for giving me all of the statistics there as well, to make sure that I didn't miss anybody. So everybody who chatted in the live chat over the week is going to get a special thank you at the end of the program today, and the autoplay is going to come back up in my motherfucking ear. Shut up, you. Anyway, you guys keep playing here. And today we'll also go through some of the live chat as well, and I'll remind you throughout the program as well. If you've got a message in there and it is sufficiently stupid, bigoted, or hateful, it will raise the intellectual level of this program and it'll get read on the air. So make sure if you're just lurking, get those messages in. I want to see what you guys have to say. I want to see what my lurkers are saying. My listeners, my lurkers, the people that are in here. No Daily Ignoramus after the program today because he is out. So let him go and enjoy his weekend. He's spending some time with his mom. Everybody should. My mom lives far enough away that I probably will not get up there over the weekend here, but we'll see what happens. I might actually still do that, but we'll see what happens. We'll still be here on Monday, so definitely come back and check that out as well. And before we get started, going right on down that note, make sure you do go check out my friends who are coming to join for the upcoming project that we have in the works right now. You can check out great programs such as the Daily Ignoramus, the aforementioned, of course, also the Porch Boys, the Freckles and Brit Show, the R-Rated Conservative, and the Breakdown with Birkenhoff. Go check out all those great shows. They're all going to be coming up and being a part of our brand new network that's going to be coming up, dropping later on in the fall. And they're also going to, I've got a couple other programs in the work that I want to come back and pick up as well because they have been great friends to this channel. So a lot of good things coming back up out of this. Some written articles, some other really, really awesome stuff. Make sure you guys check that out. Once the details drop, once we get the new website up there, it'll be a great time. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it here. All right, we got to get into the big news of the day here, though. Let's got the music up. Let's make sure we've got everything up here. The monitors are going. See where my lurkers are, my lurkers and my listening, and let's get into it. All right, starting today with your finance on the Dow. The Dow went up. It had a full positive day yesterday, looking at 35,443 points. These aren't US dollars. Wow, this is going to be a long morning. If I'm this half asleep and we're getting into this here, but 35,443.82 points. That is up 131.29 points. or 0.37%. Today will be the last trading day before Tuesday, so we'll look at on Monday what the trading looked like, but Tuesday is going to be pretty much a stagnant day because it is a holiday, and they don't trade on those days, so we will watch that and see where that goes. Looking at your Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin is holding steady, 50,198.70 US dollars. Not a lot of movement here. Once again, we're coming into a place where people aren't going to be doing a lot of trading, so all the trading has been done over the last week. If people wanted to get some of their money out to use it for their campsite or their camper or their fuel or something like that, they've already done so. So this is, I think, is probably going to hold steady over the weekend, unless something major happens while everyone else is paying attention to the barbecue. So we will watch that. Your scrap prices, which will also not move on Monday as we go. Your copper is up pretty much across the board. Some of your steel and iron are coming back down. Brass is down slightly, so that'll go on with copper. Aluminum is mixed. Some of it's down, some of it's up. Your national averages show the copper is up, steel is down, and aluminum is up on the average. So if you got some cans to get in, I would still hold on to them for a little while, but coming somewhere down the road, it might be time to go back and turn those in. Let's see what IBD has to say here. $1 Labor Day deal. Oh my God. No. From Investors Business Daily, Dow Jones Futures Market Rally await jobs report. Tesla Cybertruck delayed to late 2022. Do any of y'all actually want one of those things? And I'm asking seriously. I mean, I think it'd be cool to have an electric truck, I'm not going to lie. I think that'd actually be a pretty cool thing. I'm looking forward to the day when we see some of these trucks. Now, I'm probably still going to be a big-time V8 guy because I like the sound and everything else that comes out of this, but I mean, electric trucks, they are going to be a way of the future coming up here, and electric vehicles are cool. I've told you guys that before. Electric vehicles are really, really cool. But does anybody actually want one of these angular pieces of crap? I have a real question, and I mean, it's not bulletproof. They tried that out. Yeah. If I got electric, I would prefer a hybrid hydrogen vehicle. If I got electric, I would prefer a Ford. That's just me. But let's see what they have to say. From Ed Carson, Dow Jones Futures rose slightly Friday morning, along with S&P 500 Futures and NASDAQ Futures, with the August jobs report looming. The Tesla Cybertruck reportedly will be delayed until late 2022. The stock market rally came off intraday highs for a second straight session on Thursday, but leading stocks fared well. The Mercado Libre and Denbury stock among breakouts. DocuSign, Broadcom, MongoDB, and PagerDuty reported earnings after the close. DocuSign stock, Broadcom, MongoDB all just closed above or below buy points, but diverged in overnight trade. Meanwhile, Fubo stock popped overnight as Arizona okayed wagering via mobile devices. Fubo TV is a sports streaming specialist, but the Fubo stock valuation largely reflects sports betting ambitions. So they're saying that in states that don't allow for sports betting there, Fubo is going to be FUBARD. Is that where we're going on with it? Forte Biosciences said its eczema drug failed a phase 2 study. Forte Biosciences stock crashed more than 80%. At an all-hands company meeting, Tesla CEO Elon Musk reportedly said that Cybertruck won't begin production until late 2022, with volume production not likely until late 2023. Only a few weeks ago, Tesla finally admitted that the Cybertruck won't be in production this year. The extended Cybertruck delay suggests 4,680 battery cells are still far off from mass production. The 4,680 battery cells, assuming they achieve promised benefits, are key to making the Cybertruck, Semi, and Roadster viable. Musk said this week that the long-delayed Roadster might come in 2023. In the meantime, all-electric Rivian R1T pickup is set to begin deliveries this month, with the GM Hummer late this year. The Ford F-150 Lightning follows in the spring of 2022. Tesla stock was little changed before the open, holding just above a 730 aggressive buy point. The major indices closed with slim gains Thursday as tech titans such as Facebook and Google parent Alphabet retreated, but small caps and especially leading stocks had a solid performance. Signet, Denbury, Netflix, Shopify, Mercado Libre, Unity Software, and Palantir were among stocks flashing buy signals. Denbury, Mercado Libre, and SIG stock broke past traditional buy points and closed above them, while Palantir stock nudged higher in a buy zone. Unity stock cleared a short consolidation above a bottoming base. Netflix and Shopify cleared entries Thursday morning, but faded with the market. Many other leading stocks continued to run higher, outpacing the sluggish overall action. Unity, DocuSign, and Mercado Libre are on the IBD leaderboard. Shopify is on Swing Trader. Denbury was IBD's stock of the day. On your futures, Dow futures were up 0.1% versus fair value, S&P 500 futures climbed 0.2%, and NASDAQ 100 futures rose 0.1%. Dow Jones futures may be relatively quiet until the August jobs report at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Economists expect the jobs report to show non-farm payrolls rose by 740,000, with the jobless rate falling to 5.2%. The July jobs report showed a gain of 943,000, a figure that will most certainly be revised with the August employment figures. Remember, overnight action in Dow futures and elsewhere doesn't necessarily translate into actual trading in the next regular stock market session. I am curious to see what the jobless rate looks like once we come up here and once the numbers drop. They usually drop on a Thursday, so I'm surprised they're waiting until Friday unless there is something where they don't believe that this is going to be good news for them, at which point they're going to wait and have those things drop on a Friday right before a holiday weekend so we can come back and say, we'll just throw those out there while everyone's out barbecuing. As far as the Tesla Cybertruck goes, and we talked about this just a touch when I was starting off here, but I mean, GM's Hummer is coming out here. The F-150 Lightning is supposed to be coming in 2022. And as far as I know, and once again, I don't know, this has been rumored to me that Tesla still hand makes everything. And if they do, then I can't see where they're going to be able to keep up, because GM is going to throw that Hummer right down the assembly line as fast as they can, and Ford is going to do the same. They're going to have robots putting these things together, and they'll be able to crank out 100 of these things a day. What is Tesla going to be able to do? Plus, the thing is, I'm sorry, and I like Tesla. I think Tesla is cool. I think Elon Musk really reshaped the way the electric vehicle was perceived in our culture and paved the way for GM's Hummer, the F-150 Lightning, the Rivian R1T pickup. They paved the way for these vehicles. Thank you, Elon Musk, for that, but you know, some of the ways that he's doing things, I don't get it. Some of the marketing I can't understand. But, hey, maybe in 2028 and 2030, somewhere down there, I'll have an electric F-150. I do kind of want to wait to see, well, and that's how it's always been. I don't want an EcoBoost because I've looked at them. I remember when they first came out and I said, you know, this is kind of cool, a turbocharged V6 pickup truck. But is that off the music? I think that's off the music. Anyway, yeah, going back off of that. Yeah, when the EcoBoost came out, I said, you know, I don't really want this because this is all new technology, and we'll see how it holds up over stress testing and longevity, and it really hasn't. I mean, that's one of the things is we go through here, and the EcoBoost is, it's a cool engine, and if you're just banging around town, you'll get in 22, 25, 27 miles per gallon. If you're just going back and forth to work on a regular commute. But, you know, once you hold a trailer to the thing, your fuel economy drops to like 10, 13, maybe, if you're lucky. But it was the new technology, and I wanted to wait and see how it went. I admire the people that went out and bought the thing right away, but I wanted to see how it performed in the market, and it did not perform up to my expectations. I would much rather have a regular V8. The electric thing is going to be the same thing. It sounds cool on paper. I kind of want to experience it as it goes along, but I will take some time and wait to see how it performs on paper, to see if I'm actually impressed with it or not. Or not on paper, but in the real world before I see if I'm impressed with it, if it's something I want to buy. I will likely stay with regular V8s. Alright, anyway, we've done enough car talk here. Let's get on into the CNBC article, and then we will get into the medium news of the day. There really isn't any big news today, I'm not going to lie. There are a couple stories that really caught my attention, but there's no really big, we're going to spend 45 minutes talking about this topic out there right now. Alright, let's get the live chat up here so I can see what you guys are saying. Alright. From CNBC's Trading Nation, S&P 500, NASDAQ hit record highs. 3 market experts look at what's next. The tech-heavy NASDAQ and broader S&P 500 are setting records after records. Well, that's kind of the way that the economy goes, unless you're in a massive Great Depression. Yeah, it's still going to keep going up. 20 points here and 20 points there is not setting records after records. I hate to tell you this. 3 experts joined CNBC to discuss where the markets are headed next. Mike Wilson, chief U.S. equity strategist at Morgan Stanley, says expectations may have been too lofty and a market cooldown could be healthy. We've seen consumer confidence suggesting the consumer is fading a bit. Not a recession, but the consumer is tired. That's been our thesis all along, is that there's going to be a payback here on demand. Overnight, our economics team actually lowered their GDP forecast from 6.5% to 2.9% for the third quarter. They've kept their fourth quarter number the same, but look, there's a risk that probably if Delta doesn't fade, or my view is that Delta is a bit of a trap, people are saying, oh, the slowdown is due to the Delta. The slowdown is not due to the Delta exclusively. What it is due to is the fact that we overshot on the upside. We had a monster stimulus, and now we're going to have some payback, and that's okay. Yeah, once those unemployment benefits run out, I think that there's going to be a big drop in the markets. I don't think it's going to be a permanent drop, but, once... I think it's next week. What is it, the 6th that they all run out? And I'm thinking on the 7th, we're going to start to see probably 2 weeks of market fall. Not free fall, but fall. Jeremy Siegel, professor of finance at Wharton School, says the momentum trade is in full swing. I think we're in a bit of a bull market. I think long-term returns are not going to be as robust as they've been certainly over the last 10 years, and maybe not even over the last 200 years, but still far ahead of inflation and way ahead of fixed income. Right now, that's what's going on, is you've heard of this old expression on Wall Street, up a staircase and down an elevator. We're going up the staircase. I don't know when the elevator is going to come, but it looks like a momentum trade in the sense that it just keeps going up a little bit every day. No new real news to propel it. And a lot of momentum players piling on. We've had this before, and it's hard to say when it might end. Tom Forte, senior research analyst at D.A. Davidson, discusses one critical issue for the largest publicly traded company in Wall Street, Apple. My thesis is that over time, the 30% commission that Apple collects from the App Store to decline to a lower number, such as 10%, I think maybe the hope from some investors is that if Apple can make these adjustments on its own, it won't require the government to step in and maybe come up with a more onerous solution for Apple. But I do think it's curious that investors are giving up the stock a pass on that important development. So a few things coming up, a few things coming down. Looks like big jobs let down in August as payrolls grow by just 235,000. Ooh. Yeah, it is 8:30 a.m. Oh! 745,000 jobs expected, 235,000 achieved. Let's see. Updated moments ago. Yep, published 8:30 a.m. Job creation for August was a huge disappointment. Sorry, we're jumping back in on the finance here for just a second because this is breaking. This is something to talk about. Job creation for August was a huge disappointment, with the economy adding just 235,000 positions. The Labor Department reported on Friday. Economists surveyed by Dow Jones had been looking for 720,000 new hires. The unemployment rate dropped to 5.2% from 5.4%, in line with the estimates. August total was the worst since January, and it comes with heightened fears of the pandemic and impact that rising COVID cases could have on what has been so far a mostly robust recovery. Ooh, sorry, Joe. Sorry, Joe. Weekly jobless filings have fallen to their lowest level since the early days of the pandemic in March of 2020, but a large employment gap remains. It's not that there aren't enough jobs out there. Placement firm Indeed estimates that there are 10.5 million openings now, easily a record for the U.S. labor market. The Federal Reserve officials are watching the jobs numbers closely for clues as to whether they can start easing back some of the policy they've been providing since the pandemic started. Oof. Oh, that's got to be painful for old Joe. That's got to be painful for him. And it sucks for the American people, and I'm not going to lie to you about that. I am not so anti-Biden that I want to see the American people fail in order to stick it back to him. I want to see a robust economy coming back out of this, but it just seems like day after day, week after week, we get a little bit of stock market growth. The investors get rich, but, you know, the yous and the me's out there, we get fucked over and over again. I feel like September is probably going to be a much bigger month because once people stop getting the unemployment checks, they're going to say, hey, shit, I can't eat. Fuck! To the McDonald's! They're paying $50 for an interview. And there's going to be so many people standing in front of you at the McDonald's, they're going to have to stop paying the $50 for an interview. But yeah, this is breaking, so we'll probably talk more about this on Monday. But ooh, that is painful. I saw a question asking if I'm a Republican in the chat. I am not. I don't really have a team sport political ideology. I just want to be left alone, to be completely honest. I don't want to have to pay taxes. I don't want to have the government intruding in my life. I'm willing to pay a little bit of money into my locality because I'm a Federalist, but no, I'm not a Republican. W can burn in fucking hell. Just like his daddy probably is right now. See, there it is. I can't be a Republican because I hate W. I don't worship at the feet of W because Sean Hannity told me so. All right, let's get into the medium news of the day here. Let's check in. This is really going to be a catch-up stream. Honestly, with a couple of things we have to catch up throughout the week here, plus a couple of stories are falling into place. We're coming into a holiday weekend, and like I said, the news media really doesn't want to work that hard right now. But we're going to start with Reuters. Biden enlists White House counsel to fight Texas abortion law. This is from Jeff Mason. President Biden on Thursday said he's launching a whole of government effort, including from the White House counsel, to combat a strict new Texas abortion law after an overnight Supreme Court decision let it stand. Biden, a Democrat and a pretend Catholic who plays one on TV, who has shifted to the left on abortion in recent years to be more in line with the party's base. No, he did whatever his handlers told him to, and his brain is Swiss cheese, so he doesn't really have any beliefs of his own anymore. Called the law that bans any abortion, after 6 weeks, an unprecedented assault on women's constitutional rights. Read more. Did I just do the Biden there? I saw the read more and I read it as if it was part of the script. Jesus Christ. I need more sleep, people. Come on, man. The president said in a statement he was directing the office of the White House counsel and his gender policy counsel. Why is there a gender policy council? Why? To review how the government could ensure that women in Texas have access to safe and legal abortions, and what legal tools we have to insulate women and providers from the impact of Texas's bizarre scheme of outsourced enforcement to private parties. The White House will specifically look at what measures can be taken through the Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of Justice, Biden said. The White House has called for the codification of abortion rights that are currently protected by the court's 1973 Roe v. Wade decision through legislation in Congress, but has not outlined any specific steps that it's taking to back any such laws, rather. A plurality of Americans believe that abortion should be legal up until the fetus is capable of living on its own, and they remain largely supportive of Roe v. Wade. A Reuters Ipsos poll, which is heavily biased, in June showed the responses are split among party lines, with 70% of Democrats, 35% of Republicans, and 47% of independents agreeing that abortion should be legal in most or all cases. Biden's Democrats have control of the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives with slim majorities, and he is seeking to push through legislation on infrastructure and other Democratic priorities in the coming weeks. Well, I mean, if this is your top priority, and they keep acting like this, like they turn into shrieking demons if you start to suggest the fact that the ability to murder one's offspring is taken away from you. They turn into shrieking heartbeats. From the way that the media reacts to this and the way that they run out to protest, this should be your top priority. This is what you should be using your budget reconciliation for. Not the infrastructure bill. This is the top priority. Go make a law. have it run, pass through the slim majority House, make a law saying in every state you must be able to kill your baby instantly up until the moment of birth, and then run it through the Senate, and then have the parliamentarians say, okay, well, I'm going to let you go do this in one case because you paid me off, and have budget reconciliation, and then there's your 50 votes. Have your 50 vote majority come in and say, yes, abortion, and then have Kamala Harris sign back off on it because she'll be the tie-breaking vote, and there it is. You never have to worry about this again. Never once. Never once will you ever have to worry about this again, but they won't do that. Because a lot of these moderate Democrats can't go home because they're coming out of red districts where the alternative is a dumb fucking W Republican. And they know that if they vote yes for this, they're not going to have another term. Their constituency will take the dumb fucking W Republican. But yes, no, put it through the legislature. Then you never have to worry about it again. Then it's codified into law, and nothing, we'll never have to have this argument again. But you won't do that. Do you know why? I'll tell you why they won't do this. And part of the reason that Texas is doing this now. It's not about whether or not Greg Abbott gives a fuck who has an abortion and who doesn't. It's about making sure that you get a challenge up to the Supreme Court, to buckle down Roe versus Wade and let this get kicked back to the states, but it's also about taking away the ability for Democrats to run on this issue, because that's what they run on every year. That's one of the talking points they always bring up every single time they run for anything. Well, if you vote for Republican X for the presidency and Republican Y for your senator and Republican Z for your representative, they're going to conspire together and take away your ability to get an abortion. It's an every election cycle thing. Every other year, that's the first thing that we hear about Republicans X, Y, and Z. Constantly. And if Roe gets kicked back to the state, that's another plank that they can take away from the Democrat platform. And really, honestly, the Democrats keep telling us we're in a cultural war with Republicans. I'm not. I just want to sit back here, play video games, go to work every day, and read you guys the news every day. I'm not in a cultural war. I have friends who are in the cultural war. I am not in the cultural war. I'm just reading you the news from the sidelines here, but as far as the cultural war goes, you have one side that is breeding to high heavens, instilling children with their values into the next generation, and the other side that's kneecapping their own side's ability to reproduce and create a new army for the next generation. That's not a bold battle plan. That's really not a good battle plan at all. But, far be it for me to tell people what to do. I want to talk about the Lincoln Project for just a second, because, they're the Lincoln Project. The Lincoln Project tweeted out, national companies headquartered in Texas are forcing hundreds of thousands of employees to live and work in a state that not only ignores their constitutional rights. There's no constitutional right to an abortion. There's a constitutional right to privacy, and I wish that some of these pro-aborts would use that constitutional right to privacy. But there's no constitutional right to an abortion. It's to privacy. So that's the first mistake they have here. But it's actively trying to take them away. So first off, I will be spending more money now with AT&T. Well, not AT&T because they suck. But I will be spending more money, possibly with Dell. 7-Eleven if I can find one. Mobile, I'll probably be buying more mobile gasoline. Maybe I'll get no, I can't get a Pizza Hut pizza because I'm on keto. Never mind. JCPenney, they'll be getting some money from me. Dr. Pepper, I can't because keto once again. Whole Foods, hey, maybe we'll go spend some money in Whole Foods. And if I fly, it'll be via Southwest. But here's the thing with this, and this is the reason that I brought this up and added this out here. Now, first off, they botted themselves to 20,000 likes because they were getting massively fucking ratioed. But furthermore on this, you remember when people tried to tell us that the Lincoln Project were really just principled Republicans who were anti-Trump, They had nothing to do with the Democrat platform. They just needed to take the GOP back from the evils of the orange Donald Trump. Yeah, with this tweet here, that shit's out the window. Keeping business in a state like Texas sends a message louder than any statement of corporate values ever could. No, you're not principled Republicans anymore. You're not principled fucking W religious Republicans. You are pro-aborts, you are fucking Democrats, you're running on the grift to go get a whole bunch more money. That's what you're doing. Alright, and with that, let's keep going. From the Daily Wire, a little bit of Psaki news for you. I've noticed, I only ever use the Daily Wire for Psaki news. I figured that out sometime not that long ago. That's all I ever use them for, because they give us video. We barely read the article. Psaki snaps and asks why Biden supports abortion if he's Catholic. You've never been pregnant by Daily Wire News. And yeah, we can read a little bit in this article, but we never really do. Maybe a paragraph or two, then we jump right to the video. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki snapped at a reporter on Thursday who pressed her about how President Biden could support abortion if he's Catholic, and suggested to the reporter that they did not understand because they have never been pregnant. Let's listen.
Following up on the Texas law, why does the president support abortion when his own Catholic faith teaches abortion is morally wrong?
Well, he believes that it's a woman's right, it's a woman's body, and it's her choice.
Why does the president, who does he believe then should look out for the unborn child?
He believes that it's up to a woman to make those decisions, and up to a woman to make those decisions with her doctor. I know you've never faced those choices, nor have you ever been pregnant, but for women out...
Hold on. Full stop. Isn't there a gigantic plank in the Democrat Party platform right now that says that men can get pregnant? Is Jen Psaki a bigot? You'll also notice, by the way, that once the abortion thing hit the table, the whole 72 genders thing, that disappeared in a fucking hurry. Didn't it? No, there are only 2 genders and only one of them gets to talk about abortion. Men can't get pregnant, you bigot. Why would you talk about abortion?
out there who have faced those choices. This is an incredibly difficult thing. The president believes their rights should be respected. Go ahead. I think we got to move on. I think we have to move on. You've had plenty of time today.
Following up on the Texas law, why does the president support?
Psaki said earlier this year by Psaki was asked earlier this year by a reporter, does the president believe that a 15-week unborn baby is a human being? Psaki dodged the question, but pretended that the reporter asked a different question. Are you asking me if the president supports a woman's right to choose? Psaki asked. He does. Psaki then immediately called on another reporter. Yeah, when did we go back to there are only 2 genders and only one of them can get pregnant? When did we get back to that point? Can somebody answer me that? Because I do have legitimate questions about this. I have legitimate questions as to how that worked. All right, let's keep going. From Fox News. Biden helped secure Tajikistan's border amid U.S. border crisis. From Jessica Chasmar. The U.S. is helping Tajikistan secure a portion of its border with Afghanistan to help combat security threats in the region since the U.S. troop withdrawal from Kabul Monday, despite the ongoing crisis at the U.S. border that's seeing thousands of migrants pour into the country every day. The U.S. Embassy in Dushanbe has launched a project to construct new facilities for a border service detachment along the Tajik-Afghan-Uzbek border, allowing Tajikistan's border troops to deploy more quickly in response to the threats of the region, the embassy said in a press release on Wednesday. That is John Pommersheim, so we're not going to use the Biden voice on that. The United States and Tajikistan enjoy a strong security cooperation, and this border detachment project is just another example of our shared commitment to the security and sovereignty of Tajikistan and Central Asia, Ambassador John Pommersheim said in a statement. The project is scheduled to break ground in early 2022. When completed, the new facility will provide housing for Tajikistan's border troops and their family members, the release said. The U.S. government has provided over $300 million in border-related security assistance to Tajikistan since 2002, the release added. So, once again, I have questions. And we're going to go read from one of my representatives in this state in just a second, but I have questions. First off, is not a strong, secure border, isn't that racist? I thought. Isn't that a racist thing? Are Tajikistan people racist? Is Biden racist? Because Biden's helping with this border security. Is he a racist? Strong, secure borders are racist. That's what they keep telling me. What's going on? Help, please. Somebody help me. Because I don't know. Representative Tom Tiffany said during a Fox News appearance on Monday that he witnessed insufficient security during his recent trip to Fort McCoy, an army installation in central Wisconsin that currently houses thousands of Afghan refugees. That is well out of your district, Tom Tiffany. That is far, far out of your district. So I don't know why it is that you're running out to there, but, you know, every politician's going to be doing that conveniently. Hey, we got to go to these where they're having the refugees because this might help me win my next re-election. The congressman said he was stunned to find that none of the refugees he encountered were special immigrant visa applicants who have to go through a thorough vetting process that can take up to 2 years. They were all there on parole, Tiffany said. The parole authority is granted to the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. He can just wave people in. At the U.S. southern border, hundreds of thousands of migrants continue to pour into the country every month. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas announced in mid-August that 212,672 immigrants were encountered at the southern border in July, a 13% increase over the already massive 188,000 migrant encounters in June. In July 2020, there were just 40,929 encounters. Texas AG Ken Paxton and Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich raised red flags over terrorism concerns at the southern border during an appearance on Fox News Thursday, calling the Biden admin to enforce existing immigration laws. Yeah, I can hear a big no coming from that request. Existing laws? What are those? Come on, man. I don't want to do stuff. So that's what we see coming up out of that. From the Washington Post, moving right on off of Afghanistan into budget stuff, because that's going to be back in the news here in just a few moments. Manchin calls on Democrats to cut $3.5 trillion spending plan, dealing potential blow to Biden agenda. Oh, this is going to get interesting. Also, I noticed that this is, and I archived this a bit earlier. This was archived before I got to it. But whoever archived this last, is that the Euro, I think? Yeah, was paying for their subscription to the Washington Post in euros. So thank you, European friend, who was the last person to archive this. Let's see what they have to say. From Tony Rahm, a defining element of President Biden's economic agenda appeared to be in new political jeopardy on Thursday after Senator Joe Manchin III, one of the chamber's most pivotal swing votes, said the Senate should take a strategic pause on advancing its $3.5 trillion tax and spending package. Writing in the Wall Street Journal, Manchin, DWVA, raised concerns that the price tag is too high, that the effects on the federal debt might be too great, and that the risks of inflation could create financial harm for Americans. He called on his fellow Democrats to slim down their spending ambitions and to slow down their plans to adopt the measure as soon as this month. While I've suggested that this reconciliation legislation must be passed now, I believe that making budgetary decisions under artificial political deadlines never leads to good policy or sound decisions. Manchin wrote, that's kind of a contradiction, Joe, I'm not going to lie. Manchin previously has expressed misgivings with the size and scope of the Democrats' plan to enact a bill as large as $3.5 trillion. He also raised past concerns about the deficit, despite assurances from Democrat leaders that their final package will be financed in full. Yes, by you. the lower to lower middle class to middle class. That's who's going to be financing this. But Manchin's calls Thursday for additional time and a smaller economic package still created fresh headaches as lawmakers began their work this week to craft what they hope to be a significant overhaul of the country's education, healthcare, and tax laws. If Manchin ultimately withholds his vote in pursuit of his changes, his party would not be able to proceed in the chamber since all 50 Republicans have vowed to oppose this bill. Oh, this is going to get interesting. Get the protein-packed non-carb snacks because I can't eat fucking popcorn because this is going to be interesting, you guys. I've always said if I can't explain it, I can't vote for it, and I can't explain why my Democrat colleagues are rushing to spend $3.5 trillion, Manchin wrote. Oh, pick me, Joe Manchin. I can explain it, They're going to make a great big giveaway so they can go buy votes for the next term through. I know what they're doing. I know exactly what they're doing. All right, and the senator's comments immediately drew condemnations from liberal-leaning lawmakers in the party, some of whom contend that the $3.5 trillion maximum they're authorized to spend already is far too little to address the challenges the country faces. Yes, no, we're having trouble agreeing that, we should be spending this much money. Let's come out and start suggesting that we should be spending more. All right. We're not going to go through the ones in the Washington Post, but we are going to go through a particular group from the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire reports, AOC-aligned organization demands abolishing Senate to pass Biden agenda after Democrat senator warns of inflation. From Ryan Saavedra. A far-left activist group aligned with Democrat Rep. The Honorable and Venerable Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, D-Twitch, is pushing to eliminate the U.S. Senate in an effort to ram through Democrat President Joe Biden's partisan $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. Senator Manchin, one of the only non-far-left senators in the U.S. Senate, warned in an op-ed on Thursday that inflation was a serious threat to the U.S. and that he could not support Biden's gigantic partisan infrastructure bill. Excuse me. Manchin wrote that some of his colleagues have a strange belief that there is an infinite supply of money to deal with any current or future crisis and that the spending trillions upon trillions will have no negative consequences for the future. I disagree with that, Manchin wrote, as he then proceeded to note that an overheating economy has imposed a costly inflation tax on every middle and working class American. Manchin slammed his own part for not taking into account rising inflation, as they attempted to pass the largest single spending bill in history, which he said would create a disastrous future for the next generation of Americans. Uh-oh. My headphones are already dying, so we might have to take a small technical pause here, but we'll power through and see how far we can go with that. Manchin called the push to ram through Biden's partisan agenda to be immediately halted, saying that people needed to watch inflation to see if it was transitory, like the Biden admin claims that it is, Manchin continued. While some have suggested this reconciliation legislation must be passed now, I believe that making a budgetary decision under artificial political deadlines never leads to good policy or sound decisions. I've already said if I can't explain it all, I can't vote for it, and I can't explain why my Democratic colleagues are rushing to spend $3.5 trillion. This goes on further than what the Washington Post article said. Another reason to pause, we must allow for a complete reporting and analysis of the implications of a multi-trillion-dollar bill will have for this generation and the next. Such a strategic pause will allow every member of Congress to use the transparent committee process to debate what should we fund, what can we simply not afford. So that's good on Manchin for coming out and thinking about the working people. That's what I was told from the time I was a kid, that's what the Democrat Party was. The people who are out there looking out for the little people. And that's not what I'm getting from any of this. All I'm getting from this is let's go and spend and spend and spend and spend some more. All right, in response to Manchin's well-thought-out response to hyper-partisanship in Washington, D.C., the Sunrise Movement, a far-left group aligned with AOC Biscuit, demanded that the Senate be abolished, writing simply in a statement, "Abolish the Senate." AOC Biscuit has repeatedly called for abolishing the filibuster and other important entities that protect the U.S., like the Department of Homeland Security, which was created in response to 9/11 terrorist attacks. Yeah, that one could actually go. DHS, bye-bye. You're gone. Matt Whitlock, with the red flashing emergency lights, AOC-aligned progressive group, comes out for abolishing the entire Senate. Jordan Carney, who writes for The Hill, Inbox Manchin Reaction Edition, Ellen Cieles, communications director of Sunrise Movement, released the following statement: "Abolish the Senate." But wait, there's more. AOC Biscuit later lashed out at Manchin online, suggesting that Manchin was responsible for killing people. "Fossil fuel corps and dark money is destroying our democracy, puppy, country, and planet," she claimed. "All day our community has been pulling bodies out of homes from a flood. Entire families, and we're supposed to entertain lobbyist talking points about why we should abandon people and do nothing? No!" So, they don't go too much further into what Sunrise Movement is, and I couldn't find any green check verified stuff on this, but even still, we come off of this, and here's the tweet off of this. "Manchin has weekly huddles with Exxon, and is one of many senators who gives lobbyists their pen to write so-called bipartisan fossil fuel bills." Boy, are you ever going to be pissed when you find out who's signing Charles U. Schumer's paychecks and Nancy Pelosi's paychecks. "Fossil fuel corps and dark money are destroying our democracy and country and planet, Papi. And that's the reason that we have a hurricane and flooding in New York City. Okay, Papi? Hey, I say, okay, I'm telling you right now, it's not about just natural weather patterns that have been around for thousands of years. This is because Joe Manchin won't sign on and let us spend $3.5 trillion. Okay, Papi? Fucking spare me. All right. We got to talk about the Dissociated Press and California, but I'm going to take a second. I'm going to turn the microphone off and the camera off for just a second and swap out my headphones. So I will be right back with you guys. Alright, now I can't get up and go and get coffee while we're watching a video or something, so I'm wired. I can't move, I can't leave. But we still got stuff to go through. Let's get the Instagram feed back up here so you guys can see this. Alright, let's read from the Dissociated Press. California Senate votes to mail ballots in all elections, from Adam Beam and Don Thompson. Democrats have advanced a major overhaul to California's elections on Thursday, voting to make sure all active registered voters will get a ballot in the mail at least 29 days before every election, even if they don't ask for one. A majority of California voters have been casting ballots by mail for years, but most of them had to ask their county elections office to send them one. Yes, as it should be. That changed in 2020, when officials worried crowded polling places on Election Day would be stupid spreader events for the coronavirus. California was one of 4 states, joining Nevada, New Jersey, and Vermont, that temporarily changed the rules for the 2020 presidential election to require all voters receive a ballot in the mail ahead of Election Day. California lawmakers kept that rule in place for the 2021 elections, including the recall election of Governor Gavin Newsom on September 14th. Oh, surprise, surprise, they want to honk and send out the mail-in ballots to absolutely everybody. Honk. Thursday, the state Senate voted to make that rule permanent. The state assembly voted to do so months ago, but because the Senate made some changes to the proposal, the assembly must vote on it one more time before sending it to Newsom, who will decide whether to sign it into law. Honk honk. Honk honk. Mailing ballots to all active registered voters in 2020 was controversial, especially with former President Trump and his allies making false claims that widespread fraud, would prevent him from winning. No, it's just a lot of honk honk, and nothing bad happened in the 2020 election. By the way, going on to that for just a second, and those of you on YouTube probably should go over to another platform, just in case we do get knocked off at this point. I do have to ask the question about YouTube right now, because I have anticipation, and like I said, nothing bad at all happened in the 2020 election. Joe Biden really is the most popular president in history. He got more votes than even Barack Obama, and the 2020 election was completely above board. But in a video game, in a simulation, if we're talking about in Minecraft, if there was a situation where Biden could have been honk-honked in, where there could have been some sort of fraud out there, and I'm not saying that there was, because there absolutely wasn't. We need to sit back and not question our great and glorious dear leader, Joe Biden. But in the simulation, or not even in the simulation, in real life, if you were to talk about the simulation, where there's a possibility that there could have been honk-honk in the election, in the 2020 election, then you would have got kicked off YouTube. They sent out the release. We read the release, and in its entirety on air on Contemporary, and probably about 10% of it on the Red Ned Show. But we read the entire release on air on Contemporary, where they said that if you talk about honk honk in the 2020 election, you will get kicked off. And I have to ask the question, if there winds up being some sort of honk honk, not that there ever could be, but if there winds up being some sort of honk honk in the recall election, are we going to be able to talk about it on YouTube? Or are they going to do the same thing? Oh, if you talk about this, we're going to pull the plug on your channel, and we're going to release a statement telling you that we're going to suspend your channel if you talk about honk honk in the recall election. So I do have questions about that. In general, more Democrats voted by mail in California, honk honk, while more Republicans voted in person on Election Day. Republicans opposed the bill in the state Senate on Thursday, pointing out an incident last month where police in LA County found a man sleeping in his car with more than 300 unopened ballots for the September 14th recall election. Oh, California Senate Republicans, oh, those sound like hate facts. You wouldn't want to use those hate facts, would you? You wouldn't want to use any of those. Those people might think you might be a racist if you use those kinds of hate facts. Senator Andreas Borges, a Republican from Fresno, said he received 2 mail ballots. Ooh, those are hate facts too. What's with all these hate facts coming from these Republicans? In the mail, one at his primary residence and another one at his in-laws' house. So if I'm getting 2 ballots, I know that others are getting multiple ballots as well, and that feeds into this narrative of distrust, Borges said. Senator Tom Umberg, a Democrat from Santa Ana, noted even if people receive multiple ballots, they can't vote twice since the ballots are tracked with barcodes. He encouraged anyone who received multiple ballots in the mail to notify their county elections offices, adding that there were virtually no reports of fraud in the 2020 election. Honk honk. No reports of fraud. Freest and fairest election in history. Biden in the basement is the most popular president ever. More votes than even Barack Obama. Honk honk. So, that's what's happening in California right now. All right, another one on the California election from U.S. News and World Report. Experts call for rigorous audit to protect California recall via the Associated Press. Honk honk. From Christina A. Cassidy and Kate Brumbach. A group of election security experts on Thursday called for a rigorous audit of the upcoming California gubernatorial recall after copies of the systems used to run elections across the country were released publicly. The letter sent to the Secretary of State's office urges the state to conduct a type of post-election audit that can help detect malicious attempts to interfere. Honk honk. The statewide recall targeting Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom, set for September 14th, is the first election since copies of the Dominion Voting Systems election management system were distributed last month at an event organized by MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, an ally of former President Trump and a PSYOP, who has made unsubstantiated claims about last year's election. Elections offices across 30 states used the Dominion systems, including 40 counties in California. Election security experts have said the breaches from a county in Colorado and another in Michigan pose a heightened risk to election because the system is used for a number of administrative functions. You can get that in a number of different places, from designing ballots and configuring voting machines to tallying results. In the letter, the experts say they do not have evidence that anyone plans to attempt a hack of the systems used in California and are not casting blame on Dominion. So, they want to go and audit the California election, but if you audit the Wisconsin election, the Pennsylvania election, the Georgia election, or the Arizona election, that's hateful and nothing bad could come out of this, and you're just perpetuating a Republican scheme, a Republican lying talking point. Oh my God, it's the end of the world, but we have to rigorously audit the California election. Fucking spare me, you guys, seriously. Absolutely. I mean, the writing is on the wall. You're going to try to get this election no matter what. And these people, like I said, are fucking terrified that Larry Elder is going to win this election and replace Dianne Feinstein. These people are terrified of that. But it goes the same thing with the recall. Signature matching in Georgia. Signature matching on ballots, that's hateful and it's racist. If you try to match any signature whatsoever on a ballot anywhere in Georgia, if you don't just take it at its face value and at its word, you're a hateful bigot who perpetuates evil conspiracy theories. But California's recall had the most rigorous signature matching system in the world to make sure that every one of these signatures is valid. It's the double standard. That I don't really care about election fraud in other states so much as they keep the shit off my lawn. I don't care that much about that, but it is the double standard that really, really fucking cuts me right to here. I hate the double standard. And the news media lets them just fucking get away with it. Alright. So, that's what we see coming up with that. Let's talk about BLM, shall we? Reading from the Denver Post, Elijah McClain case, grand jury indicts police paramedics in the death. From Noelle Phillips and Elise Schmelzer. 3 Aurora police officers and 2 paramedics will face criminal charges, including manslaughter, in connection with the 2019 death of Elijah McClain. Yeah, but I don't know who this one is right offhand because this didn't happen in an election year. They talked about this after the fact. This didn't happen during an election year. A state grand jury indicted Aurora police officers Nathan Woodyard and Randy Rodema, former officer Jason Rosenblatt, and paramedics Jeremy Cooper and Lieutenant Peter Sishunwek on 32 counts, according to an indictment made public Wednesday by Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser. We're here today because Elijah McClain is not here, and he should be, Weiser said at a morning news conference. He was a son, a nephew, a brother, and a friend. The indictment comes just over 2 years after McClain, 23, died after being violently detained by officers and injected with a sedative, ketamine, by paramedics. All 5 faced charges of manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. Let me look at this one for just a second, because I think, and I was very much against the idea of trying Chauvin for murder, but I think this one might have at least brushed the line of murder. I want to just double check. Let me see if I can find something. Of course, most of this is going to be news. Okay, let's read from the completely unbiased Wikipedia. Elijah McLean was a 23-year-old black American massage therapist from Aurora who died 6 days after a violent police encounter on August 30th, 2019. On August 24th, 3 Aurora police officers confronted McLean after responding to a call by an Aurora citizen about an unarmed person wearing a ski mask that looked sketchy. The 3 police officers who were involved in the incident said their body cameras were knocked off during the struggle with McLean. McLean was forcibly held on the ground with his hands cuffed behind his back, after which paramedics administered ketamine to McLean to sedate him. While on the scene, McLean went into cardiac arrest 3 days after arriving at the hospital. He was declared brain dead, removed from life support on August 30th. McLean's autopsy was inconclusive, and the cause of death was listed as undetermined by the coroner. Aurora police officers met with the coroner before. Okay, this is a different one than I thought it was. I thought this one was like the full-on autistic kid that was spazzing out in the police kill. This is a different one than I thought it was. So I don't know enough about this to say if this was a major problem or not. And I'm going to be full out and admit to that. I don't know if this one was one where I could say justified or was not justified. The grand jury in Denver has said that this is an unjustified, so that's where I'm going to leave it off of that. But yes, Cooper and Sichuek also face a second-degree assault with intent to cause bodily injury, 1 count of second-degree assault for recklessly causing bodily injury by means of deadly weapon, ketamine, and 1 count of second-degree assault for purposes other than lawful medical or therapeutic treatment for administering ketamine to McLean. Okay. Don't know enough about this one to opine on it. I thought this was a different case. At which point I was going to say, good, let the people burn or rot in prison. Because I thought that, yeah, this was the autistic kid that was being knelt on and spazzing out while he was doing so. I will have to look into this one more to see if this is going to be a justified or non-justified, because I just don't know. You guys know me, I'm going to be fair about it. Alright, let's keep going. From Newsweek, we're going to go down the Kamikoof Road. Anti-vax protesters in Georgia shut down vaccine clinic, harass health workers. A vaccination clinic in Georgia was shut down after anti-vax protesters harassed healthcare workers who were administering COVID shots over the weekend, according to Georgia's top health official. Kathleen Toomey, the commissioner of the Georgia Department of Public Health, said she recently learned some healthcare workers helping to vaccinate members of the public against the virus have received threats and harassing emails. A mobile vaccination event held last weekend was forced to shutter after protesters aimed threat at the on-site workers, she said. No, come on, guys, don't do that. Don't do that kind of shit. Don't be that fucking stupid. Are you serious right now? If people want to run out in a hurry and get the vaccine, let them do so. Their body, their choice. Don't shut down people's ability to go seek medical care. This is wrong. This is absolutely wrong, Toomey said. These people are giving their lives to help others. They're not giving their fucking lives. Are you... Everything is so fucking stupid right now. Everything is so fucking stupid right now. Why is everything stupid? Okay, don't protest the vaccination workers because they're indoctrinated people who think that they need this in order to survive. But Pat Toomey, they're also not giving their lives to administer this thing. They're taking some time and either doing their paid job or volunteering in order to go out and help people who are already indoctrinated to go out and get this thing. They're not giving their lives. Everything is so fucking stupid. Everything is stupid. The people of Georgia can do better, she added. We should be thanking these individuals for trying to get life-saving vaccines to our state, Toomey said. After Toomey shared news of the vaccination clinic's unexpected closure, Governor Kemp spoke briefly about the early days of the pandemic and recalled how some people donated meals and other items to healthcare workers to show appreciation for their work. That's what we should continue to do, Kemp said. We need to unite in these tough times, not be divided. Yeah, If the brainwashed people want to go out and get a medicine put in their arms, I'm not going to stop them, and you shouldn't either. Let them go out and have their magical, God, what's the word? It's on the tip of my tongue. Their magical syringe-shaped talisman. Let them go and get their tattoos, their religious tattoos. It's saying, I was vaccinated. I was saved. Look at me, I was saved. And then continue to tell you that it's not a religion. Let them go and do that if that's how they want to worship, if that's how they want to do it. But they're not giving their lives to put this out either. Jesus fucking Christ. So that's what we're seeing coming out of that. From NBC, 15 million COVID vaccine doses thrown away in the U.S. since March. New data shows. This is from that one progressive I follow over on Twitter. She posted this out. That one super progressive I rarely agree with, but still follow for some reason. Let's see what they have to say here. This is from Joshua Eaton and Joe Murphy. Pharmacies at state governments and in the United States have thrown away at least 15.1 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines since March 1st, according to government data obtained by NBC News. A far larger number than previously known and still probably an undercount. Four national pharmacy chains reported more than 1 million wasted doses each, according to data released Tuesday by the CDC in response to public records requests. Walgreens reported the most waste of any pharmacy, state, or other vaccine provider, with nearly 2.6 million wasted doses. On your taxpayer dime, by the way. While Walmart reported 1.6 million and Rite Aid reported 1.1 million. The data released by the CDC is self-reported by pharmacies, some states and other vaccine providers. It is not comprehensive, missing some state and federal providers, and it does not include the reason doses had to be thrown away, probably mostly from expiration, because you're pretty much up to the point where everybody who wants this fucking thing has got it. In one example of missing data, the CDC lists just 12 wasted doses for Michigan since March. Yeah, those books aren't fucking cooked at all. But Michigan's Department of Health and Human Services said on Wednesday the state has thrown away 257,673 doses since December. I'm still going to say that number is going to be considerably higher than that. The number of discarded doses is still a small fraction of the total doses administered in the U.S. In general, there are a number of reasons why vaccination sites may have to mark doses as wasted, from a cracked vial or an error diluting the vaccine to a freezer malfunction to more doses in a vial than people who want them. A wastage report can also happen when a vial contains fewer doses than it should. The data on wasted doses comes as the more contagious Delta variant spreads rapidly across the U.S., adding fresh urgency to the effort to vaccinate as many people as possible and spurring a plan to begin offering booster shots to those already vaccinated, even as many nations around the world have vaccinated few, if any, of their residents. So, there we go. We've got waste out there. A lot of people, and like I said, I'm not surprised at this point because they cranked this thing out as fast as they could, thinking that 100% of 330 million people and 100% of 7.2 billion people around the world are going to run out on the first week and get this, and they're going to run into supply shortages. But you're at a point right now, in this country at least, and I don't know about other countries, there may be other countries that didn't get enough vaccine doses, and there are people that are demanding they get their magical syringe-shaped talisman. There may be other people around the world who are demanding to come out and get this. But in the US, for the most part, right now, all the people who want to get the jab have got the jab. There are very, very few others who are going to run out and go get it. You've converted as many of the religious converts as you're going to get. So start focusing on your mission abroad. Let's keep going. From Reuters, Theranos judge requires COVID shots for jurors, but will that skew the jury poll? Yes. From Brandon Pearson, a U.S. judge this week dismissed from a jury pool 9 people who were unvaccinated against COVID-19. He said his aim was to keep jurors and their families healthy, but might his decision skew the jury pool? Yes. U.S. District Judge Edward Davila, presiding over the California fraud trial of Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes, took action on Tuesday. While choosing an all-vaccinated jury may be within a court's power to safeguard jurors, critics say it could reduce fairness of trials. If you excuse those unvaccinated people, you no longer have a representative jury, said Christina Marianakis, a jury consultant with litigation consulting company IMS. The gender, age, and ethnicity of the 9 excused jurors could not be determined, but vaccinated Americans are more likely to be older, female, white, college-educated, and Democratic. Data compiled by the Kaiser Family Foundation shows 70% of white Americans have been vaccinated, compared to 65% of black Americans, 71% of females compared to 63% of males, and 86% of Democrats who need their magical Democrat talisman to worship the religion of their choice, compared to 54% of Republicans. I think it's a reasonable decision in the midst of the pandemic, but yes, the elimination of unvaccinated people is likely to affect the makeup of the jury pool, said Valerie Hans, professor at Cornell Law School. Experts said the issue was likely to arise more frequently as in-person trials resume amid the pandemic. While both the prosecution and defense in the Holmes trial backed the decision to excuse unvaccinated jurors, the issue could be grounds for challenging a verdict in cases. Good. Take that fucking shit all the way up to the Supreme Court. When the parties do not agree. Good. Do it. Go and challenge this shit. If the Judicial Department is going to do honk honk with the jury pool and your trial by jury, then yes, you absolutely should be taking it out to the Supreme Court and saying, hey, what the fuck, man? All right, let's go on from that. From the Blaze. Australia testing Orwellian quarantine app that dispatches police if users don't verify a location within 15 minutes. From Paul Saka. A state in Australia is testing a new app that would help the government track residents. No. To ensure they are obeying COVID-19 quarantine orders. The government of South Australia has begun a trial of the home quarantine SA app that The Atlantic calls as Orwellian as any in the free world. Australians will download an app to their cell phone that features facial recognition data. No! You know, there's a reason I don't use the facial unlock biometric on my Galaxy Note 10, and it does have facial recognition unlock. And I said, no, we're not using that. Christ, I barely used the fingerprint. And geolocation. The South Australian government will randomly contact the user to check if they're at their approved quarantine location. Users will have 15 minutes to take a photo of their face. If the quarantining individual fails to reply within 15 minutes, the police officer will be sent to check on the person. No! Home Quarantine SA uses geolocation and live face recognition, checking as key components of ensuring your safety as well as the safety of the community. The Government of South Australia website states, the check-ins are on randomized schedule and confirm that you are at your approved address and ensures that you are compliant with your home quarantine direction. No! That's a big no from me. The app performs several geolocation and live face recognition check-ins at random intervals each day, and you will have 15 minutes to respond. The website reads, if you miss the notification and the phone call, a compliance officer may visit the approved address to check that you are safe and compliant with your direction. Pay attention, this is the shit they're going to try and bring here. They're going to try and bring that shit here, mark my words. This is a big no. I mean, that right there is enough incentive for me. And I use my smartphone, by the way, for streaming sometimes. I use that for listening to other people's streams. I do use my smartphone as a tool to run this operation, this shit show. And then in the upcoming project that we're working on, the upcoming website we're working on, I use my smartphone for that. But if this is going to become a possibility, there will be a baseball bat taken to my smartphone, and I will be in flip phone nation once again. I have no problem going back to that. I've got a computer, it's stationary. And if you think that your smartphone's already geolocating you, but if you think that you're going to let the government use that to make a warrantless search of my home, you can go directly out and fuck thine self. With an iron rod, preferably. Alright, here's one that I have been trying to get to since Tuesday. Because we found it on Twitter trending, and I had no idea what was going on with it. I've been curious about it. It has been in the stack every day since Tuesday, so we're going to see what's going on with this. From CBS High School Sports, Bishop Sycamore football controversy. Eye-opening details emerge after supposed high schools lost to IMG. From Chris Bengal and Waji Al-Baroudi. IMG Academy's elite football team faced off against an Ohio-based school named Bishop Sycamore earlier in August. It wasn't a pretty result. IMG Academy dominated in a 58-0 win, even though the game allegedly featured two powerhouse high school football programs. The Bradenton, Florida-based IMG Academy is annually one of the top programs in the country and boasts several 4- and 5-star prospects on a yearly basis. Bishop Sycamore indicated to ESPN it was on a similar competitive level, but questions about the program's strength and legitimacy rose shortly after its nationally televised drubbing. In the fallout of the controversy, Bishop Sycamore fired head coach Roy Johnson. The school announced the decision on Tuesday. The school's director, Andre Peterson, said a lot of things contributed to Johnson's firing, including the coach's injury tracking and pending fraud charges. Roy's honestly been like a little brother to me, in the sense that when we really were launching the Bishop Sycamore, there were some things that we wanted to do better and could have been done better. Peterson told USA Today, I value him as a person, but I just thought right now he needed to step down, he needed to go. We just decided to mutually part ways. Bishop Sycamore allegedly claims to make its home in Columbus, Ohio. However, according to the Sporting News, it appears that the school might not be real. Schools that boast the name Bishop usually are associated with the Catholic Church and are named in honor of local bishops. However, the Diocese of Columbus, Ohio doesn't have any Bishop Sycamore throughout its history. According to the Massillon Independent, Bishop Sycamore is described as an online charter school that students can attend. In addition, the school isn't listed in the Ohio School Athletic Association's Directory of Schools, which leaves more question marks. Instead of being an OSHA school, Bishop Sycamore is reportedly a school in the Texas Christian Athletic League, which is another flag. However, Bishop Sycamore isn't the only non-Texas school in the conference, as Ocean Springs Grace Baptist is a member and is located in Mississippi. It is worth noting that Duncanville High School, which is located in Texas, does still have Bishop Sycamore on schedule for the 2021 season. Well, that's interesting. So this is supposed to be one of the most elite programs for football in the country, and they got trounced 58-0 on their first game. And now we're deciding whether or not this is actually a real school or if this is a grift to go try to get money from Catholic parents with an online school. Very interesting. I'm glad I kept that, because I thought about cutting this article a few times throughout the week. I'm glad I looked into this, because that I didn't catch that until I saw it in the chat. BS high. Oh, that's great. I love that. Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's keep going. Liz Cheney named vice chair of the January 6th Select Committee. From Annie Grayer, Ryan Nobles, Zachary Cohn, and Whitney Wild over at CNN. Democratic chairman of the January 6th Select Committee, Benny Thompson, announced Thursday that fake Republican Liz Cheney will become the panel's vice chair, the latest sign that the Democrat-run committee is attempting to strike a bipartisan tone as it prepares to wade into politically contested waters. Cheney, one of two Republicans who is not actually a Republican, to serve on the committee, has defied her party by joining the panel controlled by Democrats and even sacrificed her own position in leadership in order to remain vocal and outspoken about the need to investigate the January 6th selfie fest at the U.S. Capitol. You know, the one where the FBI has already said that, hey, we've tried, we fudged the numbers as much as we could, we fudged the facts as much as we could, and we can't find an insurrection. That selfie fest. Now stepping into a more prominent role within the selected committee, the Wyoming globalist will be even more at odds with her party as the panel begins to chart its investigation into how somebody who wasn't one of the globalist elite got into the presidency and directly target the people who oppose the globalist agenda in the Congress. This is bullshit. Once again, we have no chance of even seeing any sort of fair process coming out of this. Let's move on. Let's go from, this is from Ron Helton's favorite magazine, from his favorite politician, from Bloomberg. Let's go read from Bloomberg. Rally for January 6 rioters prompts Capitol security concern, from Billy House. Warning, warning, this is a trap. This is a trap. Do not go to the Capitol on September 18th. This is a trap. Do not go. Do not attend. Stay away. Do not go. Your cell phone data will be tracked. Your geolocation will be on. The FBI will be watching you. There is a likely chance that there will be a honk honk Capitol breach. Honk honk, do not go to this. Stay as far away from Washington, D.C. as you possibly can on this. I don't usually recommend going to Oregon, but you might want to be in Oregon for this. You might want to be that far away from the Capitol. Stay away from this. Stay away from this. Do not go. This is a trap. Let me rephrase this. This is a trap. Tell your friends, tell your MAGA buddies, do not go to this. Stay away. A planned rally next month on the U.S. Capitol grounds that organizers say is intended to peacefully demand justice for hundreds of political prisoners charged in the January 6th Selfie Fest is raising law enforcement alarm and plans for beefed up security measures. Among measures being considered for the rally planned for September 18th is reinstalling some of the recently dismantled fencing around parts of the Capitol grounds, though no decision on that has been made according to a person familiar with the planning. The protest, Glowies for J6, is being orchestrated by a glowing group called Look Ahead America that is totally not comprised of FBI agents. Don't look over here. Directed by Matt Braynard, who is totally not an FBI agent and is totally a real person, who was part of the data team for Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. Oh my God, they can't even try to hide this. This person is glowing. Do not go. Stay away. Stay away. What we are looking for is pure patriotism. Oh my God. It's American flags, American clothing, t-shirts, that sort of thing. And I invite you to make your own signs demanding justice for these political prisoners, demanding justice for Ashley Babbitt. Brainerd sent a video posted this week to Twitter. Could this glow any fucking brighter? Yeah, this is completely glowing. Do not go to DC on that day. Do not go. Do not go anywhere close to DC. Stay as far away from there as you can. Don't go to this rally. Do not go. This is a trap. From WUSA 9, in the same vein, MPD fully activates department ahead of planned Justice for J6 protest on September 18th. From Mike Valerio. And it's interesting, of course, because they put this with the tag of Capitol riots. Yeah, they're not planning something. It's just going to be a peaceful protest. In a flash notice sent to all officers and members of the department Thursday, Metropolitan Police vacation days in anticipation of a September 18th protest organized by supporters of January 6th defendants. Do not go. I am in support of the January 6th defendants. One of the defendants is one of my best friends. But I will not go anywhere close to Washington for this because this is a trap. This is a trap. They like having political prisoners so much, they're going to make more of them. The rally, known as Justice for J6, is planned for the Union Square area of the Capitol grounds, the section of the West Front encompassing the Ulysses S. Grant Memorial at the Capitol Reflecting Pool. The full activation alert sent as Thursday's Capitol Hill bomb threat investigation continued, which is also a glowing one, assigned specific notice to MPD civil disturbance units trained for First Amendment demonstrations. The department-wide notification has not been previously reported. Do not go. Stay away. Stay far, far, far away. Do not go anywhere to this. Tell all your friends. This is going to be exactly what they try to tell you it is. This is a psyop. This is a way for them to make more political prisoners. All right, in something else that is totally not a bad thing, from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Milwaukee is getting its first world naked bike ride this fall. From Eric S. Hanley, Milwaukee will soon bear witness to a group willing to bear it all in the name of body positivity. The city's first World Naked Bike Ride is scheduled for September 11th. John Jankowski, a St. Francis resident, has participated in many other similar events across the country, including in Madison and St. Louis, which he called phenomenal, well organized, and well accepted by the community and police department. After 6 years of thinking about it, and many telling him it would never happen in Milwaukee, Jankowski decided to organize the event, the first of its kind in the area. Tell me I can't make it happen, and I'll make it happen, Jankowski said. If St. Louis can do this, Chicago, Portland, New Orleans, Seattle, why can't we promote body acceptance in Milwaukee, Wisconsin? Jankowski recalled a family member who was picked on due to her size and came home crying constantly. It hurts me that we bully each other. For the shoes they wear, for the clothes they wear, the beautiful bodies God gave. He said, God gave us one body. You should celebrate it, all shapes, sizes, and ethnicities. Jankowski is an avid cyclist and has put on nearly 1,500 miles this year alone. It's a great way to get out and see this beautiful city we have, he said, adding that a secondary goal of the ride is to promote sustainability. Bridget Minchensky, a self-identified naturist from Watertown, is planning to participate. While she has been part of the nudist lifestyle for about 7 years, this will be her first nude cycling event, and she's excited. I don't feel nervous. I'm a people person, she said. It's all about body acceptance and body positivity. You are who you are. Everyone should be happy in their own skin. To those nervous or unsure about participating, Minchensky suggested they come, observe, and only participate if they feel comfortable. Now, the only reason that this came up onto my radar whatsoever is that there are talks now of people being urged to bring their kids to this event and let them come out and participate. Now, I don't know if this is going to be kids who are going to be clothed, if this is going to be kids who are cycling along, if this is going to be kids who are going to be urged to be naked because they need to do body positivity. I don't know any of the details about this. But I know the neighborhood that they're going to be doing this in, with a lot of dark corners and a lot of alleys and a lot of naked adults and a lot of naked kids. And I hate everything about this. I hate every single thing about this. And I don't accept this. Leave your kids out of this kind of stuff. Yeah, I understand you want to teach kids about body acceptance and body positivity. I understand so. But it should not involve being naked. Furthermore, I mean, you think about a naked bike ride and you think of like these old 70s photos from like Sweden and stuff where naked girls are riding around on bikes and they're all smoking fucking hot. That's not going to be who's on these bikes. I'm telling you right now. That's not who's going to be on the bicycles down here. It's not going to be the people that you want to see naked. But first and foremost, leave the kids out of this. Leave the kids out of this. If your junk is going to be out, leave the kids out of it. But that's happening up on September 11th. All right. We've got just a few more here, and then we're going to do live chat for the day. And our next one is coming from NPR. Remember, it's not your money, comrade. It's our money. So make sure you hit that donate button because your tax dollars don't do enough for us. And we need our money, comrade. So give it to us. Give every penny to us so we can continue to spread our communist ideals across the country. NPR, National Progressive Radio, reports kids in Illinois will soon be able to take 5 mental health days from school. This is from Jonathan Franklin. So, let's see what Jonathan has to say, shall we? And don't forget to donate. NPR, National Progressive Radio. Students across Illinois will be able to take 5 excused mental health days starting in July. Under a bill signed into law by J.B. Pritzker last month, students who decide to take a mental health day will not be required to provide to their school with a doctor's note and will be able to make up any work that was missed on their day off. Having this for now for all students across the state will be really beneficial, especially with what's going on with COVID. State Rep. Barbara Hernandez, who co-sponsored the bill, told the Journal Courier. Many students feel stressed and have developed anxiety and depression because they're not able to see teachers and friends and may have lower grades due to remote learning. Hey, look, my neighbor just walked by. Hi, neighbor! I don't know if you guys picked that up on the microphone. Anyway. Where did I leave off on this? According to CDC, between March and May of last year, hospitals across the country saw a 24% increase in the number of mental health emergency visits by kids aged 5 to 11 and a 31% increase for kids 12 to 17. The younger, school-age kids are more anxious about separation from their parents and caregivers, child and adolescent psychiatrist. Holy shit. Wow, I can read. Adolescent psychiatrist Dr. Ujwal Ramtekar at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Ohio told NPR they're worried about getting sick or their parents getting sick. Well, they've been indoctrinated into this, so yeah. They hear what's on the news, and of course it's Illinois, so it's not stop, wall to wall, panic, panic, panic. The commie coof is going to fucking kill you. The younger school-age kids are more anxious about separation from their parents and caregivers. Child and adolescent psychiatrist Dr. Ujwal Ramtekar I read that one already. For teens, the challenges can be somewhat different, according to Ramtekar. Most teenagers are struggling with social and academic anxiety, he said. Most are worried about socializing with their peers again and adapting to full-time in-person learning.
PD sent the alert to all officers,
really?
activating the entire department on September 18th, the day of the planned just...
Shut up, you. With a new law in Illinois, Hernandez says students will have more of an opportunity to get the care they need. I'm really excited for this. I think it will help students, parents, and teachers and can help them understand what's going on in their students' lives, Hernandez said. Once a student requests a second mental health day, the school counselor will reach out to their family, and the student may be referred to get professional help according to the bill. That's right, get more of them hooked on the mental health system and the pills. Many students are going through a lot mentally and emotionally, and they need support, Hernandez said. You know, there's a reason that China's laughing at us right now. And we're going to move this right up to the top. Well, not to the top, but to where we are right now. Because, we're coming in here and saying, oh, well, our children need to be able to take a mental health day. What are we doing? Just let our children take a mental health day. Meanwhile, in China, according to Reuters, 3 hours a week playtime's over for China's young video gamers. From Brenda Go. China has forbidden under-18s from playing video games for more than 3 hours a week, a stringent social intervention that it said was needed to pull the plug on a growing addiction to what was once described as spiritual opium. The new rules, published on Monday, are part of a major shift by Beijing to strengthen control over its society and key sectors of the economy, including tech, education, and property after years of runaway growth. The restrictions, which apply to any devices, including phones, are a body blow to global gaming industry that caters to tens of millions of young players in the world's most lucrative market. They limit under-18s for playing 1 hour a day, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., only on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. According to Xinhua News Agency, they can also play for an hour at the same time on public holidays. The rules from the National Press and Publication Administration regulator coincide with a broader clampdown by Beijing against China's tech giants such as Alibaba and Tencent Holdings. The campaign to prevent what state media has described as the savage growth of some companies has wiped tens of billions of dollars off shares traded at home and abroad. Teenagers and the future are the future of our motherland, Xinhua quoted an unnamed NPPA spokesman as saying, "Protecting the physical and mental health of minors is related to the people's vital interests and relates to the cultivation of the younger generations in the era of national rejuvenation. Gaming companies will be barred from providing services to minors in any form outside the stipulated hours and must ensure they have put real name verification systems in place," said the regulator, which oversees the country's video games market. So, the Americans are coming out here in Illinois and saying, yes, okay, we're going to use the mental health thing and we're going to give people mental health days because they don't need to be in school all the time. They should be able to go home and play video games or do something for their mental health. Meanwhile, China is saying, no, you get in there. You go in the classroom. You beat test scores. You be perfect, good citizen. You beat silly Americans. This is why China is fucking laughing at us. This is why China is laughing at us. This may also be why China's laughing at us. From the New York Post, we got just a couple more, then we'll do live chat for the day. FTC reportedly investigating McDonald's broken McFlurry machines. The government, the federal government, is getting into why the ice cream machine is broken at McDonald's. From Will Fewer. The feds have had it with McDonald's broken McFlurry machines. The Federal Trade Commission is reportedly investigating why the burger chain's ice cream machines break down so often, a matter that's become the butt of late-night TV jokes and viral social media posts. The FTC contacted McDonald's franchise owners this summer seeking information on what the problem with the chain's ice cream machines. The Wall Street Journal reported, citing a letter from the FTC and sources familiar with the matter. When reached out for comment by the Post, the representative for the FTC declined to comment. The broken machines have drawn the ire of franchisees who say it leaves them unable to serve milkshakes, soft cones, and the preeminent McFlurry, a cup of ice cream blended with candy and cookies. The machines require a nightly automated heat cleaning cycle that can take up to 4 hours, the Journal reported, and the cleaning cycle can fail, which makes the machines unusable until a repair technician can fix them. The dysfunctional machines make treats that account for about 60% of the chain's dessert sales in the U.S., the Journal reported, citing a customer survey by research firm Technomic. And the repeated breakdowns rub customers the wrong way, spurring some to even pen petitions calling for action. "We're tired of being the butt of late-night jokes, so are our customers and crews," the National Owners Association, a group of franchisees, said in a May message to owners, according to the Journal. So there's a reason why they're broken down so much, and yeah, they said it's because the cleaning cycle breaks down. which, I mean, it's understandable, but these are also highly proprietary machines that really don't leave a lot of room for an independent repair technician. Like, the company's repair technician has to be the one to come out to do it. And, I mean, one would think that the company can come out and hire more technicians, but in reality, you're able to charge your franchisees for an extra emergency call, and you're at their mercy for when they come. You can't get somebody else to go out there and do that. You can't get parts for it outside the company. So there's actually, in my eyes, a legitimate reason for the FTC to look into this. It's because the whole thing is monopolized, and there's no free market to do so. So breaking up the monopoly and getting a free market into this may go a long way to fixing some of this problem. But for now, yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous to think of that the federal government is trying to figure out why McDonald's ice cream machines are broken. But there are a lot of other aspects to this and avenues to this. So, I mean, there's legitimacy to it, but it's still funny to hear. The federal government, that's what they're doing with your tax dollars. Figuring out why the McDonald's ice cream machine is broken. All right. Couple more. Virginia High Court rules for teacher who won't use transgender students' pronouns. From NBC News via the Associated Press. The Supreme Court of Virginia has upheld a lower court ruling that ordered the reinstatement of a Northern Virginia gym teacher who said he won't refer to transgender students by the pronouns that they use. Loudoun County Public Schools appealed to the state Supreme Court after a judge ruled the school system violated the free speech rights of the teacher, Tanner Cross, by suspending him after he spoke up at a school board meeting. Cross, a teacher at Leesburg Elementary, cited his religious convictions at a May board meeting in which the school board debated proposed changes to its policies in treatment of transgender students. Cross said he would not use the pronouns used by transgender students. School boards across the state have been revising their policies to be more inclusive of transgender students in accordance with a new state law, but Loudoun County, outside the nation's capital, has been a particular flashpoint in the debate over not just transgender students, but also how students learn about racism and race relations. The school system said it suspended Cross in part because his comments caused disruption at the school, but the lower court judge James Plowman and the state Supreme Court agreed that the handful of calls fielded by school administrators did not cause the type of disruption that warranted a suspension. And you know what you should do at this point? You should, I mean, if I was Plowman, I'm sorry, that was the judge. If I was Cross, I would go in there, go start working again, and then go out and find myself another job and get the fuck out of that district. Because that district hates you. So leave them without a gym teacher. And don't give them a 2 weeks notice either. Just go out and get another fucking job. See, now you don't have this big suspension hanging over your head. Because the Supreme Court in your state has stricken it from the record. So you are free and clear. And you can go out and get another job in any other district with however many years of experience that you have. I would go do that. Alright. And then, the last one we'll do today before we go into live chat for the day. Another federal judge one here. A federal judge rules against Donald Trump Jr., says defamation lawsuit over his tweet can proceed. This is from The Blaze's Carlos Garcia. A federal judge ruled against Don Jr. and said Wednesday that a defamation lawsuit over his tweets against him can continue. The lawsuit stems from comments Jr. made against Don Blankenship, a failed Constitution Party candidate for West Virginia's Senate seat in 2018. Jr. urged his followers on Twitter to vote against Blankenship, but he referred to the candidate as a felon on the social media platform. Although Blankenship had been found guilty of a misdemeanor involving a 2010 coal mining disaster, he had never been convicted of a felony and thus could not be called a felon. He served a year-long sentence over the conviction. Blankenship filed a civil lawsuit in federal court against Trump Jr. and accused him of defamation, false light, invasion of privacy, and civil conspiracy. The defamation of Mr. Blankenship as a felon has so smeared his reputation that he has been prevented from pursuing other business and opportunities, generating similar returns of billions of dollars, read the lawsuit against Trump. In his motion to dismiss the lawsuit, Trump Jr. argued that his statement was conveyed as an opinion instead of a statement of fact, and also that his tweet has been sent to a random user on Twitter, not Blankenship. The court refused his arguments and said a lawsuit could continue. Ooh, you're going down a road you do not want to go down. I'm telling you right now, Virginia court, you don't want to go down this road. You do not want to go down this road. I will tell you this right off the bat. You know why? Because thousands of Twitter users are now open to the same lawsuit because what do? They continue to share around the same picture. Trump Jr. belongs in an orange jumpsuit. Trump belongs in an orange jumpsuit. Ivanka belongs in an orange jumpsuit. This is a can of worms you do not want open. And Blankenship is a public official too, by the way. And yes, the Trumps have also lost business opportunities because of the bullshit that gets spewed about them on Twitter. You do not want to go down this road. This is my warning to the what court is this? The federal court? This is my warning to the federal court into this. Stop, reverse your decision, and back off of this because this does not go well for anybody. This does not end well for anybody. And this will definitely not end well for you. But on that, we will see what happens and where this goes. I'm sure because of the Trump, they'll go judge shopping and find a sympathetic judge who's going to award Blankenship millions upon millions of dollars. And people will think that's a criminal conviction. Because this entire timeline is really, really, really stupid. And that's it for the day. We're going to head out of here for the day. But before we do that, we'll take the live chat over here, blow it up so we can see what you guys are saying, which you guys have been blowing up the live chat too, by the way. You guys rock. Wow, we have so many messages, we don't get to go all the way back to the beginning either. Wow, you guys rock. But from here, let's go. On Monday, we had Quest Fanning in both of his forms. Random Randy was here. Mad Cow Mark, we had Harvey McLeod. R. Volt was here. Blind Fear showed up and hung out with us. Sully Blue was here. Inverse Impact showed up, which he was surprised that this was a political stream again. So we'll go on from that. Linda Cloud showed up, and Chilaga 1984 rounded out our Monday. On Tuesday, we had Harvey McLeod. Quest Fanning, Random Randy was here. Darth Totes came in and joined us for a little while. Chaos Sui, that was a new name, I've never seen that before. Sully Blue, Mad Cow Mark and Chilaka, plus Arbolt 24 came in and hung out with us on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we had Quest Fanning, Ron Hilton, Random Randy, MK Ultra showed up for a little bit throughout the stream. Kevin99GH asked if we wanted to become famous. Boulder Vaughn, Chilaga 1984, High Leaf, Blind Fear. On Thursday, we had Quest Fanning, Random Randy, Ron Helton, KZ was here on Thursday, Chilaga 1984, Sully Blue, who is a new fan of Cowboy Bebop, by the way. I got a message on that, so we've converted another one. We have Harvey McLeod, Hoser for Life, and No to Bud all came and joined us yesterday. What do we have going on here other than the fact that we're almost an hour into the stream before we start to see messages because you guys have been so active today. You guys fucking rock. So we'll start with Quest Fanning as Eric Bowman over here. Ron Helton says the terrorists have won. They've turned this country into a giant cesspool of tyranny. Ben Wild is here, says just ask a woman where she wants to go eat dinner. Eric Bowman says what's going on behind Jen Psaki's cold, dead black shark eyes. Ron Helton says, has Psaki been pregnant? There's a man that would touch that? Shaking my head. I said I would if she kept her mouth shut. I like gingers. I like redheads. She got shark teeth too? A little bit. I can see that. Reframing the question. Let's see. Ron Helton says, I don't understand why the church has not excommunicated Biden yet. Because it's not politically convenient. Random Randy says, I'm still trying to figure out how Biden not following Trump's plan was Trump's fault. Thank you, Random Randy. Let's see. You're peeing on my foot, Larry the Cable Guy. Let's see. Patience, that's an anathema to lawmakers. By little people, they mean midgets and dwarves. And by looking out there, oh, okay, I see what. I had to read through that a couple times because you missed a letter there. And by looking out, they meant they were tripping over them at the grocery store. Thank you, Ben Wild. Quest wants me to add Essay and Holmes to my AOC impression. I don't like that, though. Because that's more of a Mexican thing, and she's Puerto Rican. Let's see. Not just the DHS, abolish all the government alphabet soup agencies, get rid of the centralized and bloated government. Katie Z is here. Welcome in, Katie Z. Yeah, Ed is literally chained to his desk. Yep. I got the cord. Ron Helton says, well, those ballots in the mail are a guarantee for elections to be stolen in perpetuity, voting is now pointless. The Marxists have won. The black pill today, Ron Helton. So much black pill. But how do those poor, disenfranchised, homeless voters vote? By mail. They're already issuing polls that say Governor Gruesome will win the recall. Katie Z says, you know you're not going to be allowed to talk about the recall. Honk honk. Hate facts. Yep. Those are hate facts. Sully's here. Randy says they had over 200,000 illegals that were automatically registered to vote in 2016 after being given driver's licenses. But don't worry, after no investigation, they declared that none of them voted. Yes, so the left is worried that a totally safe and secure election might be subject to fraud. A number of different places, like Mushroom and Swiss Burger. I like a nice, melted Swiss on a burger with roasted mushrooms and caramelized onions. That is some hot stuff. You can get that at a number of different places. Katie Z says, my progressive brother's 2020 ballot came to my mom's house. She asked me to drop it off at the post office for her. I did what I was told, but it was difficult. That actually didn't happen because there was no fraud or no problems in the 2020 election. Everything went above board. Honk honk. Biden is the most popular president in history. You know they're planning on giving all and only undocumented New Yorkers a one-time $11,000 gift. Holy shit. Can I just hide my documents that claim to be undocumented? Your papers, please! Random Randy says, my brother, who lives in another state and never lived at my current residence, received 3 absentee ballot request forms. He did live at my previous house, but his mail forwarding, which could have been worn off by now, was to an address in Illinois, and I live in Iowa. Quest Banning says, Special K. There would be nothing stopping me from filling it out and voting for him, except for the fact that nothing bad happens. Katie Z says, yeah, my brother lives in Chicago and his ballot was sent to Georgia. I hate second-degree assholes. Did they censor ballot? That's weird. Huh. Random Randy points out a good point here. So he's equipped with ketamine, but not authorized to use it. I don't find myself stacked with ketamine just to attack people willy-nilly with. We've got some links that we are not going to read. Especially if they're coming from random number profiles. I haven't heard one story of medical staff getting COVID and dying unless they've been openly anti-poke. I blame the foot guys. Life was better before the foot pervs. Most of the medical staff I know agree with my point. They worked around these patients for a year without catching it. Why get the poke now? Because the government said so. When people say that Twitter posters aren't real, I have friends who literally share things like not treating unvaxxed and all that crazy stuff. One of which is a female, and I know very well in my youth. Randy was getting a little bit in his youth. Chilaga says, Randy, did your friends miss the natural immunity being better than the jab stories that came out last week? Those are hate facts. We don't do hate facts around here. Don't forget you need to vaccinate all the animals, unlike smallpox that transfers between humans and animals. Yeah, it seems like the natural immunity story isn't garnering the legs in the news it deserves. Of course not. Because that doesn't drive panic porn. Jury of my peers, my ass. There you go. There you go, Chilaga. Do you want a vaccinated jury or an unvaccinated? I want an eclectic mix. Oh, can I read that, Dog Brains? Can I read that? I can't do that because I'm on YouTube. It's funny. And I'm sure the YouTube gods can see it on there, but I can't read that on here. I'm sorry. Oh, Susan will kick me off. What else do we have here? Apparently, Quest Dad got a jury notice. Quest, what I mean is there would be a lower overall breakthrough case rate, so you'd have 100 cases with only 5 dying, and the death rate would be 5%. So much worse than your unvaxxed odds. Harvey McLeod is here. Morning, everybody. How to lie with stats. Good old boy Bill Gates had that in his recommended reading list. I wonder if you could FOIA the actual positive test rate for breakthrough cases. Australia may not have guns, but at some point it gets bad enough it's worth picking up rocks. Almost ordered some poles with Bishop Sycamore on them. BS High, yeah, I didn't catch that at first. That's awesome. BS High. I like that. Bishop Sycamore isn't trying to be a real school. It was a joke from the start. I've never heard of Ocean Springs Baptist in Mississippi. Sounds sus. That should let me do a sports section. I mean, if we grow, we might have to start doing stuff. But I mean, this is just basically a solo show, so I wouldn't mind actually having like a full staffed news show at some point. But we gotta sell some more website subscriptions and some more PayPals before we can do that. Before we can get to grow to that point, you guys gotta start throwing more money into Buy Me a Coffee. Let's see. Remember that time they were spreading fear about the gun rally that went off without a single issue? Pepperidge Farm remembers. The glowies are in my chat. Random Randy says, I say we don't treat people dumb enough to go to this rally before even considering not treating them, the non-poked. Those people will at least have proven they are too dumb to be alive. Arvold says, hello, MAGA bros. We need action. Who's coming to the September Patriots rally? I'm not a Fed. Random Randy says, hello, Patriots. Do you have time to hear more about good word of this upcoming rally? Ron Helton says the only legitimate flag is the Gadsden flag. The rest just represent tyranny. My sign is going to say Taylor Swift is a fraud. Random Randy says, but Ed, taking political prisoners and they're anti-fascist, so that's not something they would do. Check me. Can't find a hole, find a roll. Am I right? Oof. Oh, I should have pre-screened that one. Oh. Randy. NPR is just another way of saying anal discomfort. don't get that one. But it makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. The absentee policy definitely won't be abused. Wait, they need a day off from distance learning. I thought they were back to in-person in Illinois. Yes, we heard the response for your neighbor. Psycho actress, that sounds about right. They pretend they can help disturb people when most of them are batshit crazy. I imagine a psychiatrist coming out and discussing the damage that this had on children while holding the vax mandate and mask position. Thank you, Randy. It's also crazy to think that the overblown fear would have an effect on children. Ben Wild says, is this admission that public school is damaging our youth's mental health? Probably. Wes Fenning's back after he got off the subway. Eat fresh. Will the US and West condemn China for banning excessive online gaming for kids while simultaneously destroying the lives and livelihoods over a virus that is 99% survivable? Those are hate facts. Twitch wouldn't even let me post that. Interesting. Joe wants to know why he can't get his ice cream fix. Because McFlurry machines are impossible to clean to most health department standards. Yes, probably. That's a corporate versus franchisee relationship. Yep. Okay, I know the McDonald's ice cream machines are made in Rockford, Taylor Company. They have a world-class operation. I blame the minimum wage operators. Yes, that's probably true. Your idea of a dessert is a McFlurry. You probably eat mayo on cheeseburgers and pineapple on pizza. I can't eat mayo on cheeseburgers because I can't eat mayo. And I love pineapple on pizza. Haha! Katie Z says the ice cream machine is broken for the same reason your iPhone takes a crap when the new model comes out. Funny enough, a guy in another stream who claimed to be a tech explained why those faults that shut the machine down occur. Basically, lazy employees don't want to do the required cleaning. Then the owner doesn't want to pay the fees for the tech to come out and reset it. The McRib. Oh yes, that's going to be coming in the near future too. No, they don't need to investigate. Don't like the fact that the machines are broken. Buy ice cream elsewhere. Might be wrong this year, by the way, with the wave. Uncle Joe needs his ice cream fixed. Doesn't always have the time to stop at an ice cream parlor. Samsung is better than iPhone. Fight me. I like my Samsung better. iPhone is better than Samsung, but they both make devices as if they hate their customers. The government doesn't give a damn about us or our liberties. They just look for ways to steal from us and cause us grief. If they gave a damn, they would forbid mandatory jabs of experimental big pharma products. Yeah. Whatever Apple does to invade privacy, Samsung and Google will do, and vice versa. We need to push back before waiting until a refresh cycle. I mean, you shouldn't lie about people, so I'm fine with consequences for people who lie about people. Yep. Katie Z says, my work phone is a 5-year-old S7 and it works perfectly fine. The only reason I have an S21 for my personal phone is because I dropped my S6 in a toilet. F in the chat for Katie Z's S6. Random Randy says, I've owned and used the iPhone 4S, 5, 6, 6 Plus, 7 Plus, 10, 10S Max, and 12 Mini. I've also had the Galaxy 3, 4, 6, Edge 7 Plus, Edge 8 Plus, Edge, and Edge 10 Plus. Also repair phones on a motherboard level. I speak from an absurd amount of experience. Random Randy has way too many phones. Randy, hook a brother up, still using an iPhone 7. Yeah, I've actually got an iPhone 5 I use as a music player, which that thing's starting to go to crap too. The buttons are starting to not work. Oh, I guess it's an iPhone 8. Need to entertain me for at least 2 more hours, sir. I cannot, because I have to go to work. In fact, I'm running up against the clock right now. Don't worry, Chilaga. Most people don't know what phone they have. It's kind of a running joke in the repair field. Randy says, I won't be buying another iPhone until after they openly say they're going to scan our phones. Ron's been here every day. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes the way that the the stupid restream goes. It doesn't register you in there, but yeah, I see you over there every day. Sully Blue got through episode 10 yesterday. Isn't the music like a whole mood in Cowboy Bebop, by the way? It is a whole mood. I think I am up to episode 20 now, and this recent run-through of it, but I've seen the entire series before. Yeah, the music is a whole mood. I love it. I do love it. Randy says, I currently have an iPhone 12 mini, Black Shark 2, an Android not available in the US, and a Lenovo Legion Dual. They're the last two are gaming phones. The Lenovo has a 16 gig of RAM, 144 hertz screen, and is overclockable. It's actually better than my laptop. That's better than my computer is. Just about. Jesus. Arvolt, Mexican Puerto Rican says something racist. I'm seeing a buffering wheel, but still seeing the stream. Random Randy says, I think they should change it to female. I didn't know there were gaming phones, Randy. Yeah, I mean, anything that you can do electronic computation on, they're going to try to find some way to do gaming on, because people will pay big money for it. Random Randy says, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for him to find my hot takes. I found him. Chat-ziety Fridays. Wow, post-Orwellian. Yeah? Dog Brains is MK. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Thank you, Chilaga. I want unvaxxed jury. Vaxxed have no common sense. Chilaga says, that was my point. I have very few peers that think like me. Unvaxxed separates us even more. Let's see. Your name should be Women Have DBs for accuracy. Can we have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Biden Christ on crutches? Oh, of all the ones he skipped. Yeah, I can't go through everything because I do have to get to work at some point, but pineapple on pizza, isn't that sacrilegious? To each their own. I love pineapple on pizza. Thanks for going long today in Stephen Ignoramus's absence. Yeah, I'm on the clock right now, you guys. But pineapple on pizza, the optimal pizza for me is sausage, onion, and pineapple. That is the optimum. That is the best pizza you can get. Unfortunately for me, that is on an Egg Life egg white wrap because that's the most effective crust I can make at this point. But it's still delicious, and I recommend you all try it. Helton says, I was disappointed with Peter Schiff in one of his latest live streams. He said it was acceptable for business to demand you get a jab. I say it's not if they cannot prove that it's safe and effective first, and that they will accept 100% responsibility for injuries or death. Yeah, that last part is important, and I think it's free market enough, and if a business has the wherewithal to force you to get the jab, they should at least wear that on their sleeve so you know not to go work for them. I think it's perfectly acceptable for them to require it, and I think they should be pushed off to the dustbin of history for doing such a thing. Let's see. It's wild to see people like you take that stance, Ron. I can't listen to the... Oh, come on, you guys. You're moving too fast. I can't listen to those tyrants after hearing the true belief. It stinks that we can't give Mana on Trovo because there are only 14 on the platform. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to join the Trovo, at least for a backup, too. The subscription will help get us to monetization, so... yeah, it's there. Go ahead and get into it. Let me double-check the donation side, too, over on each side. Looks like we have still only one sub on Twitch, so if you guys want to use that... oh, Unicycle Man donated 2 ice creams. Thank you, Unicycle Man. But if you guys want to go down and hit the subscribe button, find the Prime subscription. I mean, it's a $5 subscription that Amazon gives you for free. But even that $5 helps, like you wouldn't believe. So if you guys want to go and hit that, that would be great. There's Katie Zed right there with the subscription. Thank you for that, Katie Zed. We have 2 subscribers on here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Always. Let's see, what else do we have here? I've got a 2022 iPhone SE, which I used for less than a year as my backup in early 2020. I wasn't going to get anything fancy if I don't have a 5G. My 256GB iPhone 12 has 5G. My Note 10 is 5G capable, but I don't have 5G yet because it's an upcharge and I don't want to pay it right now. But I will be in the near future. Thank you, Katie's, by the way. You rock. Right to repair. I know we don't have time for it. Might be wrong says just brought my daughter to the C Flip. It's pretty insane. Random Randy, I'm subscribed after my pizza recommendation. Might be wrong still has the Note 8. Katie said, Ed knows the perfect pizza. I never met anyone who eats pizza the same way. I like it. Yeah, it's delicious. It's the flavor. Sometimes I'll put peppers on it, but usually your pizza parlor will give you a 3-topping limit. So that's the reason that I go with the sausage and the onion and the pineapple. Otherwise, it's an upcharge. Let's see, what else do we have? We got to get finished up here. I got to get to work. Might be wrong, says Samsung is preferable. Random Randy says, I thought it was cool, but my phone already has ridiculous, and I have an S7 tablet. I have a Tab S3, I believe. Yes, a Tab S3. And a Tab 10.1, by the way. Let's see. For those who don't know, Schiff is a libertarian who blogs about the economy, and he's a big precious metals dealer. Might be wrong, says pineapple, pepperoni, and jalapeno. I also like chicken, bacon, and mushroom. I wouldn't want the Flip, but she really likes it. She's spoiled. Ron says, I mainly eat pizza that has pepperoni and jalapenos. I don't like warm pepperoni. I will get a bag of deli pepperoni that's cold and eat the whole bag in one sitting. I don't like it when it's warm. I can't stand it when it's warm. I love pepperoni too. I just can't stand it when it's heated up. Upcharge, absurd. I only subscribe because your pizza order. Yes! Yes! Subscription because of pizza. With Amazon. Still, it's still a subscription. It's still $5. Did this freeze? Also, I'm fine with Italian sausage. Yeah, Amazon Prime. Oops, you asked how. There we go on Frozen. We got to get out of here. It's 9:31. I still have to throw some breakfast together and put clothes on because I'm wearing the shorts right now. Because I stopped eating keto and I got fucking fat. So, we're going to head out of here for the day. So let's change up the track and go. All right, so thanks everybody who came by and chatted in the live chat. We had a lot today, even stuff I couldn't get to from the top because you guys were going so far and so long with it. So, and there goes the buffering right there as we close out here. But we're going to head out of here for the day. As of right now, I don't anticipate any weekend stream because I think I'm going to go up and see my dad at the campground he works at. But it might rain all weekend, so I might put the kibosh to that and we'll do some gaming over the weekend. But for the most part, I want you to spend this weekend with your family, doing your barbecue stuff. Go and celebrate the last weekend of the summer. It's a holiday weekend. Go enjoy it. And, you know, celebrate the workers out there too. So absolutely go back out and do that. It's going to be way better than doing any sort of gaming stream. So with that, we're going to head out of here. And I got to throw some breakfast down, you guys. Or, well, with keto, I can't stop anywhere anymore. So we will see you guys on Monday for sure for more Contemporary and the RedNet Show, which I believe is going to feature Harvey McLeod. Come back here and hang out with me for both of those programs, and we will see you then. Until then, I am Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Take care.